Located in Highlands County, Florida, lies the 3.6-mile racing circuit known as the Sebring International Raceway, site of the annual 12 Hours of Sebring, and known as one of the most fan-friendly racetracks to go to, as all tickets allow access to all non-hospitality areas on the property when it comes to IMSA and FIA. So if it's somewhere where you're thinking about going, it is definitely worth the price of admission. And I certainly know quite a few people that have gone down for the Sebring 12-hour, but this is not 12 hours here tonight, and it's not the IMSA. This is CSRL, and we are here for round number 6, and we got some storylines brewing here as well. We'll get into that here in a moment, but this is CRN's coverage of the Casual Sim Racers League, and this is their GT Series round number 6. Carl Hamrick in the booth, joined by Joe Sullivan. Joe, Sebring International Raceway is definitely a track where you can make some passes here, you can have some issues as well, but it is going to be high speed. Looks like the weather is clear, so it's all going to be handled out here on the track tonight.
Yeah, this is another track that I'm quite familiar with, as having raced here a couple times in the past, and a track that still got a lot of learning to do to be fast, but it is a really fast track, and it's really fun once you get around here a couple times and start realizing some of the opportunities that there is to pass here, and to be able to race side by side with some guys and try to outbreak them into some situations here in the turns. But the track that I'm familiar with and excited to see these boys run here tonight.
Yeah, it is a flowy track, especially once you get to the infield. Basically, from that hairpin that you see on the track map, kind of in the middle, towards the top there on the left. That's the hairpin. From there all the way through the rest of the track until you get to that long backstretch all the way at the bottom of your track map is all really flowy, and you got to be hitting your braking points correctly. You got to be hitting those apexes, and passing through there is very, very difficult unless the person in front of you makes a mistake. But before we get into the issues at hand here, we'll take a look real quick at the point standings coming in, and that is where we're going to have a little bit of drama, as we're going to talk here to our pre-race reporter here in a second. The 3 of Craig Janczak at the top of the points in the Pro Division by a mere 16 points over Colin Winslow. Peter Muller in third, 1 point back, and then you got AJ Roderick, Siviani Madrigal, your top 5. But in the M class, points leader Antonio Avendano Diaz not in attendance here tonight. So going to be very interesting to see how that shakes up the points. Brandon Potts in second by only 3 points. Another 4 points back to Jim Herrick, and then another 3 points back to both Jason Potts and Christian Ortiz Torres. And, I mean, you can keep going down. Another 3 points back to Randall Ayers as well. And Randall has certainly been one that should be higher in the points compared to where he is. So this points championship, far, far from over. But let's go ahead and bring in our pre-race reporter for tonight, and that is going to be the driver of the number 3, Craig Janczak, points leader in the Pro Division. Craig, you've obviously had a pretty good year, a nice little bounce back year after last season. So, what's been the difference? Has it just been the turnover here a little bit with the different drivers? Has it just been you kind of just stepping up and up in your game?
I think, honestly, man, it's a little bit of both. If you remember from last season, we had Marco Chacon grab the championship. And he had to take a season off due to a life event. So he's not out here, and he's quick every week, and he's a Lamborghini main, and those that pay attention to the current slate of GT3 in iRacing know that Lamborghini is usually the car. Now, granted, this week it isn't, but with him not being here, that eliminates a top competitor. It looks like Tim Ponzi's gone through a lot of things in his personal life the last couple of weeks, and it has either neglected to take another week off or chalk the whole season. And he's not here anymore. So yeah, a little bit of knocking him off one by one, but we've also put in some good work to try to get good results throughout this season intentionally on a bounce back season. And I would love for my worst championship finish in this league to be a second all time. That'd be great. But we won't count our chickens before they hatch, man.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, still got 5 races on tap here with Sebring here tonight. They got Red Bull Ring, Mount Panorama, Nürburgring, and Suzuka. But real quick, before we let you get back out there, Sebring here tonight. How are you feeling? How's the car feeling out there? Do you feel like you have a chance out there? It looks like you don't have a time down, so deciding to start from the back and give yourself a little challenge?
Honestly, man,
or not by by what you wanted to do.
I love Jim Dutton. He runs this league so well. We do a great job as admins, except for how we set this thing to 1 lap of qualifying, and nobody caught it in advance, and that's on us. And I off-tracked on lap 1, so I am forced to start. Looks like going to be P last. And gonna have a lot of work to cut out for us here to try to salvage a good finish. A lot of cars to pass, cleanly. We can't be accruing any demerit points here, or we're gonna run the risk of losing points, even being suspended for a race if we get into way too many shenanigans. So we can't have any of that happen here tonight. We're gonna, don't let the competition know, but I think we're gonna try for some fuel saving strategy here. To try to do some overtaking the easy way without actually having to make any passes, and just see where we stack up post pit. It's probably going to be my safest path towards having my finishing position be a single digit tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if you can go from P last to P first, and we'll get a chance to talk to you here in the booth. Certainly, quite a few cars to pass to get up there. Looks like 17 other cars or 16 other cars. 17, I was right. But either way, it's going to be a tall task. We'll let you get to it. Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, huge thanks to you guys at Core. This will be a hell of a lot of fun to watch this one back, having to try to fight through this. You guys do a great job representing that for us. Thanks to all the viewers out there, everybody that supports me individually with Team Conti, Martin PC, Digital Sim Sports, Free Beer and Hot Wings Morning Show, Studio 3 designs, and everything that I have going on individually makes me feel really good about our prospects here tonight too. So maybe you'll talk to me after. I'm not going to put any money on that though. If not, I hope you guys have a good week.
Absolutely, you too. So good luck out there, and we'll see if we can talk to you.
Thank you, man. Take care.
That's the driver of the number 3 here in the Pro Class points leader coming in here tonight, Craig Janczak, as the cars will start to take off. As you take a look right there, that is where the start-finish line is. After you come through the long right-hand hairpin there, that is known as sunset, and reason being is late nights here. When the sun is setting, you're driving directly into the sunset there, into that hairpin, and the corner is, it looks like a nice kind of flowy, big hairpin there. And it is, but you want to carry so much speed through there, and as much speed as you have, you want to carry more. You want to keep pushing, but it's really bumpy. This entire track can be really bumpy, and it can really throw you offline real quick. It can upset the back of the car, and it can get squirrely real fast on you. So you got to keep all 4 tires pointed the right direction at all times. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the qualifying results here, starting with the Pro Class. And up front, it is going to be Colin Winslow onto the pole, exactly where he needs to be if he wants to gain some ground here on Craig Janczak. Craig Pisano in second place, Skylar Bickroyd, Siviani Madrigal, Jim Dutton, your top 5. Herbert Pineda, Dan Morera, Brendan Powell, John Seymour, Stefan Price, your top 10. Then rounding out the field in the Pro Class is going to be Craig Janczak in 11th. In the AM Class, we got the pole sitter of Randy Ayers once again. See if the 66 can capitalize on it this time and complete the race. I mean, he's had some great pole positions and just rough starts to the race. So we'll see how it works out here for the 66 tonight. Jason Potts in second, Jim Herrick, Ian Wilson, Christian Torres, your top 5, Brandon Potts, Ryan Farron, and Jay Little rounding out your 8-car AM Class field. Joe, Sebring, are you ready for a little racing action here tonight?
I am. This is going to be, storyline central here tonight. Craig is going to be trying to do everything he can to, have some kind of damage control. Not be able to get a lap in and starting in the back. And then the guy that's in second place, he's on the pole. And Colin's usually up front and running fast. So how much can Craig get through this field and try to come away with limiting the damage of the points lead here? Anything can happen here, and we still got a half a season left, and Craig's got to try to find a way to get back up through here, and we'll check in on him throughout this race and see what he can do. And then with the AMs, I mean, the amateur class, I mean, like you said, Randy's been fast. I mean, almost every track we've been at, just had some unfortunate luck. And now with Antonio missing here tonight, can Randy, you know, make that step and try to get into this championship hunt?
Well, we're about to find out as they head down the backstretch here, heading towards sunset. And this one should be a good one here. Again, 40 minutes on tap here for the boys at CSRL. And a lot of the lines still got plenty of races left in the season. So even, you know, Craig Janczak got a nice little, excuse me, 16-point lead in the pro class, far from over. But coming through the final corner now through sunset, and this thing is about to get underway. We will go ahead and drop it down to Barney as he is ready to wave that green flag and get racing. The pace car pulls off to the right. Green. And we are racing at Sebring. Already a move to the inside. The 28 of Vicroy wasting no time, gets a great start, and he's going to head them off into turn number 1 on the inside. Already a change for the lead. Car going wide there off the start. Looks like everybody is going to file through on turn number 1 and head down into some of the infield section here. This is also beginning of the track here. Very flowy section here, and really tight to try and make any kind of passes. Heading down into what I consider one of the first opportunities other than turn number 1 to make a pass, the run down to the hairpin here. And it is a very difficult hairpin for a lot of these guys, if not all. Going down at least the second gear, if not all the way down to first, just to get that car rotated through the corner and get a good launch off. But so far so good. The boys here at CSRL off to a good start here. And it is Skylar Vicroy at the front of the pro class. And Randy Ayers, so far, knock on wood, it's only been a half a lap, but still holding on to that first place in the AM class.
Wow, Craig is already up to 9th. I don't know what kind of start he got, but unbelievable. He went from 18th to 9th. And what are we, like quarter of almost a half a lap?
Well, we'll go ahead
that's the kind of start he wanted.
We'll go ahead and hop on board with Janczak for the start of this race and take a ride with him and see exactly how he progressed up through this field.
Jump to the middle here.
See everybody just filing out around, trying to find some kind of place to get through. Diving down the inside, gained a couple positions just right there, and looks like a bit of a blinker there on the right. Not sure who that was, but Craig Janczak doesn't care if he's blinking back in or not. Making some very aggressive moves here on the first lap and paying off every one of them here.
That was a very aggressive start, but that's what he needed to do to try to, like we talked about, try to minimize the damage here tonight. I don't know if that's going to play into his fuel strategy. I think that was a fib.
Well, it certainly worked out to a great start for him as we go back live, and you see just past Randy Ayers, your AM class leader. So he's already working up into the back of the pro class, and yeah, you can't really ask for a better start. I mean, of course, he'd like to be first right away, but I mean, considering he started back there in 17, actually 18th overall, and after a lap and a half, he is up to 8th, 10 positions in the first lap and a half is definitely the start that the 3 needed. But Colin Winslow leads the way right now, and he is going to look to try and get away as quick as possible. He's still got Skylar Vicroy hanging on to the back here, only about 3/4 of a second behind. Frank Misano right behind, Siviani Madrigal, Jim Dutton, your top 5 for your pro class standings. And really, I think everybody just kind of filing in right now and just kind of getting their feet wet, getting those tires up to temp and up to grip. We'll see who's actually got the hot shoe here in the race. I mean, this is a track where obviously if you only have 1 lap of qualifying, it can get very sketchy on getting that lap down, but it looks like we have some issues already. We'll take a look back at the first one here. This is Stefan Price going into sunset. And you see right there, you see how bumpy it is. and a big bump into the outside wall there for the 198. And then, as my co-host mentioned here, Randy Ayers, Dan Marrera getting together. Some impact there. Looks like it wrinkled up the front right, or front left of Randy Ayers, and that is okay as long as the car is still driving straight and it's not a meatball or anything like that.
As long as it didn't affect the steering at all.
As it came back on track, and it looks like it's fine. This is not a track where you necessarily need to have 100% clean car. You need to keep it somewhat clean, especially if you knock out the toe one way or another. It's not going to drive great, but looks like he might have gotten away with that one. But again, from first all the way back to sixth right away. He's got the speed to work his way back through the field. We'll see how he does. A little bit later, Frank Bassano heading down into Sunset, and I believe it's a little bit of the same. Getting in there deep and getting together with the 28 of Vic Roy. Hard impact for Frank. And man, I mean, you want to talk about a guy the last couple weeks here that just has not gotten anything to go his way. This is not a good start, and you see him right there behind. That's Ian Wilson sliding sideways as well. And Frank already going to bring it into the pits and take his fast repair, and hopefully for him he can get back into this battle and make it all the way to the end. But we'll take you back live now up at the front. It is still the 19 of Winslow. Janczak back there in 7th place, picking off another position because of Frank Bassano going into the pits. But your leader now in the M class is another one that is trying to get up there in the points. We mentioned Herrick is right up there as well.
Here. Yeah, he's in 3rd coming in here tonight, and I mean, if he can come away with another podium here tonight, or even possibly a win, I mean, put his name in the championship conversation.
While we're on here, just want to send a shout out and a thanks to 4D Racewear for their help and their sponsorship here in CSRL. Definitely go to 4dracewear.com and check out the only racing gloves for your feet. Another incident here with Jay Little will up over to, and again the bumpiness of Sunset. You see the car just bouncing around, and the 196 going around. We'll take a look at that one more time and just show you, on board how bumpy it is and how bouncy it is going through here. And you see the car already bouncing and maybe bottoming out a little bit, and how quick the back end can just step out and go around on you. You're gonna get away with it and get back away without making any kind of damage, but that's how quick it can happen. You got to be ready to catch it right away, and you got to be make sure you take that corner the right way, or it's going to catch you every time.
Yeah, that's I guess the turn that I have the most trouble with here at this track. It's just, I haven't been able to grasp it quite yet. I'm either too slow or way too fast with it. It's still trying to find that sweet spot.
I'm on board here with Herbert Pineda as he is running in 5th place overall, but right behind Jim Dutton and Savani Madrigal, as well as Skylar Bickroyd is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And not too far behind these guys, only 1.2 seconds behind, is Craig Janczak, already threatening to come into the top 5, but good start, good run for these boys, and a big turn to the right there for Jim Dutton.
Jim Dutton.
The Kraken reached out and grabbed him coming out of the corner there, and yet just dipped the tire into the grass there a little bit. That is heavy impact into the wall. It looks like he's going to creep away, but that car has got to have some major damage made. I guess the good thing is, he knows it in there. It doesn't make sense that you would have less damage and less kind of to repair to your car by going in there head first, as compared to just basically scraping the tires. I mean, these tires get knocked out of place so easily that you'd rather do that right there. You'd rather just nose it into the wall than hitting it any kind of sideways.
Yeah, you'd rather take care of these tires, and like you said, it's not totally important to have aero here, but you'd rather have a straight wheel than and sacrifice a little bit of aero.
Christian Ortiz Torres, another one that is trying to get himself up into the mix, whether he believes it or not. He is trying to get up there in the point standings, and currently running in third place behind Brandon Potts. And really, you know, with Antonio not being here, the M-Class Championship just got wide open, and you know that. And granted, again, we have 4 more races after this one. We still have Red Bull Ring, Mount Panorama, Nürburgring, and Suzuka, and pretty much every one of those. Red Bull Ring is by far the easiest track left on the schedule, and it's one that is very wide, very flowy, and you need some out-and-out speed there, and you got to be really good through fast corners. But the rest of the schedule, a gauntlet. I mean, when you talk about Bathurst, you talk about the big old Nürburgring. I mean, you could literally put 5 Sebrings inside that Nürburgring. I mean, it's unbelievably big, and just comes at you every which way. And then even Suzuka to finish off is not going to be an easy schedule. I know we talked about it several times, but these drivers got a gauntlet to go through before this thing is over. And it's going to get real tight here in the M-Class as the way it stands right now.
Yeah, and with a track like this, that's, you know, I mean, not necessarily on the harder side, but it's a track that you could keep it clean and try to get a good finish, because you know these hard tracks are looming, so you want to try to take advantage of that today and not have any kind of mishaps, because you know anything can happen in those races. I mean, anything can happen in this race, but man, you definitely want to try to limit your possibilities of a bad race, especially at a track like this. It's, you know, pretty comfortable for most people.
Sebring Madrigal is currently in third place here, but 5th place in the points coming in here, and he's had plenty of times where he's shown a lot of speed and the speed to go out there and win, or at the very least grab podiums, and just had some bad luck in his way one way or another. But you know, it comes in 30 points behind Janczak. He's got to start clawing his way back into this championship, and we'll see what he can do tonight. As you look back at the back of your picture, the 3 of Janczak already right there behind Pineda, and he just turned in the fastest lap of the race, already a sub 2-minute lap time, and that is cooking here around Sebring, as the next closest time is, well, a 2-minute flat by Colin Winslow at the front, as Colin just ran on the last lap a 2 minutes .03, but a 1:59.9 for Janczak on the last lap. He has got the bit in his teeth, and he is cruising up through here, now up into 4th place, and already got his eyes on the podium.
Yeah, he is moving. I don't know. I know we talked about his fuel strategy, but I don't know what he has in mind for that. But he is just cooking to this fuel right now. I didn't expect him to be up this far this quickly. I expected him to get up there at least, you know, top 5, but that start was just, I mean, like you said, it could not have gone any better for him. I mean, he got through there, kept it clean, made some aggressive moves, but clean, got through there, and you never know.
Yeah, I mean, the sketchiest time to make passes is right at the beginning of the race. That's when everybody is still, you know, the blood's pumping, the tires are not at the temp or pressure yet, so it's the hardest time to kind of really feel out your car, and it's going to be the hardest time to pass. But in the same case, it's also the easiest time to pass. Everybody is bunched up together. If you can get a lightning start, there's a good chance that you're going to pick off, you know, 5, 6, 7 positions right away, as compared to, you know, 2-3 laps into the race. You're not going to pick off 6, 7 positions in one lap, because everybody's going to be spread out. They're going to be single file, and you'll be lucky to pass 1 or 2 cars a lap. So, I mean, if you're aggressive, if you have the great start that Janczak had, then you can do exactly that. You can make your way halfway up the field right there on the first lap, and he's done so, puts himself now in contention here for at least the podium, surely a top 5, and potentially even the win yet. But Colin Winslow has been putting down consistent fast times here. Another 2-minute .16 that last lap puts him out to a 4-second lead over the group right here, led by Skylar Vickroy in second, Sebring Madrigal, Craig Janczak, and Herbert Pineda, your top 5. Looking over at the AM class, it is still led by Jim Herrick out there to a 1.6-second lead over Brandon Potts, Christian Torres, and Randy Ayers, your top 4. And then a little ways back, you have Ian Wilson rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really like Colin's car here tonight. That paint scheme is really it's colorful, but I'm kind of digging it. I like that orange in the front for sure.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
I'm about to see what that paint code is and try to get it from him.
Yeah, I mean, it's the car's going to look even prettier in victory lane if he can bring it home tonight. And it's amazing. I mean, I feel like the race has just started, and we are already about 15 minutes into this thing, and I mean, it's ticking away, and it's going to get close to pit times for these drivers and get close to that halfway point. Everything seems to have settled down. Not really any kind of incidents since the last one that we've seen there with Jim Dutton. Everybody has kept it on track, kept it clean. And for the most part, everybody is holding position, other than the guys trying to hold off the 3 of Janczak right now, who's caught up to the top 3, and you see 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th right there on your screen here. And it's an amazing job that Craig's done. I know we've probably talked ad nauseum about him so far in this race, but I mean, what he's done so far in this race has been nothing short of amazing. We'll see if he can finish it out. And he's certainly caught up to the faster cars here in the field with Vic Roy and Matt Madrigal now in front.
Yeah, just to kind of go back to his start, though, I mean, how much time he saved on track by being that aggressive on the start. I mean, to get by that many cars that quickly and not have to worry about it, you know, like say 2 or 3 laps into this race, because then you're just kind of stuck behind them, and then you got to try to figure out how to pass them. I mean, you can't just, you know, each turn pass a car. I mean, it doesn't work like that here, so you have to, you know, take your time and maybe get 1 car a lap. I mean, how much time he saved just on that aggressive start is, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, 30 seconds maybe. I mean, it's hard to tell, but just a crazy amount of time that he saved by getting past all those cars right off the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, at this point, if he was still back in the position where he started, kind of right back around probably 15th at this point, with the couple of cars having some issues, he'd be looking at being 26 seconds behind the leader. That's how far Ian Wilson is right now. 5th place in the M class. He is 26.4 seconds behind your leader, Colin Winslow. But because he made the start that he did, he's only 5.6 seconds behind your leader, Colin Winslow. So, I mean, literally 20 seconds saved from the start of the race to this point right now. But a lot of racing yet to go. He's still got 1 more position before he can start hunting down Winslow. He's got Vic Roy right in front of him. We'll see if he tries to make the pass here into the hairpin. Looks like he's going to hold off for the time being and try to get the run out, as that Audi seems to be planted here tonight.
Yeah, it seems like the Audi is the car here tonight. I mean, I know it changes from week to week from some guys, but some guys stay in the car that they're comfortable with. But the guys who move around, it seems like the Audi's the way to go here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, 6 drivers out of the 11 in the Audi in the Pro class. Surprisingly, none in the M class. So, I mean, maybe that tells you a little bit what you need to know about the Pro class and the M class. But, I mean, we've talked about that several times. There's some times where guys just get into a car they feel comfortable, and that's the car that they like to drive, and they'll run that car for the whole season. Other guys will jump around and kind of feel out the best car that they think for that track. And clearly a lot of drivers migrating to the Audi for this one. But yeah, I mean, I've floated around here and there, and you know, there's certain tracks where I'll run a more conservative car like the BMW or the Mercedes, and then there's other times where I'll get into a more aggressive car. And speaking of aggressive, that was aggressive right there. But gonna back out now, maybe get a run out of the corner here, side by side. Nope, looks like he's gonna fall back in line behind Vic Roy, but now looking to the outside here of turn 1. It gets a little sketchy, gets a little dirty out there. And maybe going to try the crossover to the inside now. If he can get to that inside, he's not going to be able to. We'll see if Vic Roy holds him off. Now side by side through the S's. Vic Roy holding on to the position, but now sending it up the inside, still trying to work on Vic Roy. And side by side down to the hairpin, but Vic Roy in the 28 is going to have the inside of the hairpin. And here comes Madrigal trying to get up into the mix as well. Looks like he's going to back out as they'll still be side by side. And Janczak trying to do it around the outside, and he will move him up to second.
Is he going to clear him?
Not done just yet. Vickroy gets a good run out of the corner, and now he's going to be set up to the inside for this 90-degree right-hander. And Vickroy fighting back and saying, you can have it, but you're going to have to fight me for it. And takes back second place. This is music to the 19's ears as Winslow checking out now to an 8.4 second lead. Still running consistent lap times, and 2 laps ago ran the second fastest lap of the race by a 1,000th of a second difference, the 159.91, but again, just consistent times, a 2-minute .13 that last lap. He is putting in some great times here in the first half of the race, which we are just about done with. We're coming up on the 20-minute mark already. Could see some pit stops this time by or next, but it is an 8.7 second lead for Winslow at the front over Vickroy, Janczak, Madrigal, and Pineda, but that could all change right now heading into sunset. And big pass there by Janczak, but crossover from Vickroy trying to get to the inside here. It looks like Janczak is finally going to make that pass, but he better get away and get away quick, as Vickroy is fighting hard here tonight. Looking over at the M class, it is still led by Jim Herrick, but he has got some company. The 25 of Brandon Potts has closed the gap. It is down to 0.4 seconds. As you see Jim Dutton there in pit lane. 0.4 separates first and second here in the M class. Not too far behind there is Christian Ortiz-Torres in third. Randy Ayers up to fourth. He's 5.7 seconds behind the leader right now. Ian Wilson rounding out your top 5 quite a ways back, and he is in the pits right now as well. So pit stops starting here on the lap 11 and just past the other halfway point. So heck of a start, heck of a run here at Sebring so far, Joe.
Yeah, Craig and Skyler battled that entire lap, and it took Craig an entire lap to finally get around him, and they lost over, let's see, about almost 3 seconds on that, just on that one lap. They lost to Colin. Colin ran a 2-minute .1, and they were running a 2:02, almost a 2:03. I mean, that was 3 seconds that they lost, or that I guess Craig lost, and the second, third, and fourth there lost to Colin with them battling. But that was a pretty fun battle there for a lap.
Well, it's not over yet. I mean, take a look back up here. Janczak has not stretched out just yet. Still only 0.8 ahead of Vickroy, who's only 0.5 ahead of Madrigal, who's only 0.4 ahead of Pineda. Or actually, I got that wrong. Yeah, Janczak is 0.8 ahead of Vickroy. 0.4 is Madrigal, and then 0.2 is Pineda there right behind Madrigal. So these drivers very close, and it very well could be pit stop strategy and how quick you can get in and off of the pits. As you see, Saviano Madrigal dropping off into pit lane from the top 5 there. So a little bit shorter of a pit for the 15 team. We'll see where he can file back out, but yeah, a great start by all these drivers out here, as John Seamer also going to follow in 7th place. Jim Herrick now gives up the lead in the M class. So new leader in the M class, Brandon Potts. Christian Ortiz-Torres is going to stay out this time as well. So I think that's a great move by Jim, because Brandon was reeling him in there, and instead of letting him, if he got to him and then just worry about the pass, just go ahead and pit and maybe try to get the short pit done, because last season that was the way to go there, short pitting. So we'll see if that's going to be the move for Jim, and should try to keep it in front of Brandon, who's been just on a tear here lately. I mean, this season has just been really good for Brandon. I mean, he's second in points right now, and with Antonio being gone, this is going to be, him and Jim are going to be ones here battling it here tonight, and then for the points too. Yeah, Jason Potts would love to be out here and battling up with these guys, but he is way back in the back of the field. Actually, never mind, he has not taken a lap here tonight, so not going to be getting any kind of points on him. So Christian Ortiz-Torres should be at least up into a solo 4th place, if not in the top 3 after this race. But yeah, I mean, the short pit Now, the reason we talk about the short pit is you come in there, the first one in there, first one to get your tires cooled back off, because you're not going to wear the tires out enough that it warrants taking tires on these short little 20-minute runs. Typically, when you're out there for a 12-hour, 24-hour event, you can run a full hour, a full fuel stint on these tires, and you could, in most cases, run multiple stints on the tires if you so choose. So the tires aren't going to necessarily wear off in those 20 minutes, but what they will do is they'll cool down once you come into the pits, and they'll cool down enough that they'll almost kind of feel like a new set of tires when you come back out there. You'll be able to come back out, lay down a couple new burner laps, and that's where you kind of gain that time on the guys that you were around. But what Brandon Potts needed to do there on that in lap is run as fast as he could and put down a really great lap to try and counter the short pit there of Jim Herrick. But now they're going to hand the lead over to Randy Irish, your pole sitter, and he's going to try and do the same thing. He's going to try and put in a burner lap or two here to try and get it done on the overcut instead of the undercut.
And speaking of new leaders, Colin has come into the pits, and Craig has assumed the lead overall here as Colin has come down pit road. Craig hit another sub-2 lap with some clean air.
New fastest lap of the race with a 1:59.86. And there's only been 2 drivers out there in the field that have cracked the 2-minute mark, and that being your leader earlier, Colin Winslow, and your leader right now, Craig Janczak. So these drivers seem to be the cream of the crop right now, but there's a lot of other drivers that were more than willing to step up and take the win here tonight if they end up mixing up or they have any kind of issues. But we are on minute number 25 of 40 in the middle of the pit stops here. It's about time to turn the mics off here, crank these drivers up, and give everybody out there in CRN Nation a little love to hear it. I'll make sure I don't turn the freaking music on this time like a dumbass. Our mics are off, by the way. I started to. I'm gonna end up watching it after our thing here with David. Yeah, there's quite a few guys that are gonna get smacked around a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, there was. Oh yeah, I seen that. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You get that double side draft. Oh yeah. What the hell? Yeah, I kind of like swiped right on him. Yeah, he got dinged a couple times, just in the in what I seen. Yeah, he was one that made some really stupid moves. little bit love to hear it of just my voice there and not the cars at all. So apologize to everyone out there tuning in as we got it done there towards the end of the race, and we at least got to hear Jim Herrick's car as we came through here and give you guys I'd say a little moment of silence, but not exactly me talking out there. But we've got less than 10 minutes left in this race. Colin Winslow is the one out front by 6.3 seconds over Craig Janczak. Taking a look here at the M-Class lead, and it is once again getting heated up here. Jim Herrick out to a 1 second lead, but Brandon Potts right there in the mix, still has a chance at the win here, and so does the man that is now in third, Randy Ayers, not too far behind this crew, and he is back up into the podium spots, 3 seconds behind the lead. So if Potts and Herrick end up mixing it up here a little bit, it's going to bring Ayers right back into this thing and maybe give him that well-deserved shot here at the win once again.
Yeah, before the pits there, he got up to 4th, so he battled himself back up there and got himself back here in this discussion. So it's a good battle back after the early trouble here with him and Dan. Looks like he got that faster pair, got that damage fixed. And he was running some really quick laps there too towards the end of that field run, that first run. He was getting close to he's in a almost 2 second or 2 minute laps there.
Looks like Winslow has maybe weathered any kind of storm. I mean, he's been putting in some burner laps as well, and both Winslow and Janczak under the 2 minute mark that last time by, but Winslow 0.03 of a second faster. So, you know, regardless of Craig Janczak's amazing run through the field, it's been kind of steady right there at about 6 to 7 seconds since he's gotten himself up into the top 5. So he's not really been able to gain at all on first place. But take a look here at Brandon Potts as getting a little bit close to disaster coming out of turn 1 right in front of Randy Ayers here as he's trying to push that Lamborghini for everything that it's got to try and catch up to Herrick. He wants to get this win. Obviously, these 2 cars and really top 4 right now in the M class could potentially be your top 4 in points as it leaves here from Sebring with Antonio Avendano Diaz not in attendance here tonight. So very, very important finishing positions here, and could end up being determining the championship before this thing is over, as we've got 6.5 minutes left. Who's going to bring this thing down? Who are you rooting for? Who do you think's got the stuff to get it done here in the AM classes? It seems like that's really where the battling is going on here, with Jim Herrick, Brandon Potts, and Randy Ayers, your top 3. The top 3 in the Pro class seems to be settled out right now to Winslow, Janczak, and Madrigal, but Pineda, Vic Roy, and even Brandon Powell not out of this thing just yet there, as they are the top 6.
And Colin and Craig just ran the exact time, lap time there on that last lap. I mean, to the thousandths of a second. That's unbelievable. And Skylar Vickroy, he started off pretty strong here. Led a little bit, and now is finding himself back here in 5th after the cycle of pit stops. Looks like he was the slowest of the top 5 here on pit road in his pit time. He was almost a 15-second time here.
Take a look right there at the last 2 lap times from 1st and 2nd in the Pro class. 33 thousandths of a second separating Winslow and Janczak on lap 15. 0 seconds separating them on lap 16. So both drivers giving it everything they got, but looks like Janczak having a little bit better lap this time.
Yeah, he's gonna get some on him.
Gain a little bit of ground here as Winslow running a 2-minute .5384 and Janczak with a 2-minute .2. So going to gain about 0.3 of a second there, almost 0.4 of a second, but he's going to need more than that. He's got quite a bit to go. He's going to need an incident from Winslow as we are under 5 minutes left, and we'll take a look.
We got probably, what, 3 laps left now?
Yeah, two or three laps max. As we look back here at Jim Dutton, back out there and got that Kraken machine a little bit cleaner now. Got that front end, well, got the teeth fixed for sure. So he certainly matched those teeth in the wall there on the backstretch as he's doing a little bit of battling here with John Seamer at the back of the pro class here, battle for 7th and 8th. As we look back over at your M class, and Eric's starting to stretch out here a little bit, 1.8 second lead now over Brandon Potts, who has got to be starting to look in his mirror now, because Randy Ayers is right there on the hunt. He wants to get back up there. He'd love to get back up there and battle for this win, but any position here is going to be very huge here tonight. So he's going to want to try and get around Brandon Potts if he can, but time is starting to tick away, less than 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, Brandon was looking at Jim, trying to get him, and now he's got a mirror full of Randy and trying to maybe just hold on to second here.
Yeah, Randy's got a great view of everything right here as he is running in at 9th place in the pro class, but getting to watch his battle unfold right in front of him as he tries to save that mark going through the corner there. But he's taking a look at 1st, 2nd, and 3rd here, and the M class, and certainly the battle for 2nd.
And it's one thing, like curbs, that's something I gotta get used to, is when to use them and when to not use them, you know what I mean? Because it's all specifics, and
it's track specific, and sometimes it's car specific on track specific. Easy for me to say, that's a little bit of a tongue twister, but yeah, and it can be a tongue twister if you hit those curbs wrong. As big old wiggle there from the 66 of Ayers, and
he doesn't want Dan to get around him.
Absolutely not. He doesn't want to get a driver in between him and Brandon, but Dan looks like he is looking for position on the outside. Not going to get it done. Going to have to back out. Maybe go for the crossover switcheroo here and maybe get to the inside heading up here. He's going to fall back in line and let these guys do battle one more time, as we should be 1 to go this time by. Colin Winslow losing a little bit of time, maybe getting, well, I'd say he's getting a little bit cautious, but that's not the case. I mean, Craig Janczak again running the fastest lap on the race, 1:59.79 was the last lap time, but you know, Colin Winslow with a 2:23 is easily the 2nd fastest lap on the track that last lap. So certainly not letting Craig just creep back into this thing. He's putting down some laps, and he would be a well-deserving winner here tonight if he can get it done. And coming down the backstretch, you see Janczak right there, getting a little bit bigger in the mirror now, under 5 seconds. But this thing could be over very soon. Should be getting the white flag this time by.
And we could probably go back and review all the laps from Colin here, and I bet it's only about a ½ second window from his fastest and slowest, because he's just been, I mean, so consistent here tonight. He's got this place dialed in.
You see Barney out there on the left-hand side waving that white flag. We are indeed 1 lap to go here, as looks like Frank Pisano having another issue here tonight. And I mean, I just feel like the hits just keep on coming for Frank these last couple of races. A little bit of a slide here. Doesn't look like any kind of damage on the 38, but just having a rough run of races, and it happens. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes you just kind of lose feeling a little bit, and he just needs to get it back under wraps here and get back going. But Colin Winslow trying to run this thing out, trying to get the win done here in the pro class, and he's got a nice sizable lead yet, and actually gained a little bit of time this lap on Janczak as he heads into the final few corners here of the infield, and really probably the last toughest little section of the track, short of Sunset right there at the end, which you don't want that to catch you up right at the end. But I mean, if you get a nice 5-second lead, you can take it a little cautious coming through there. But a great run from start to finish from Winslow, as grabbed the lead very early on. He lost it right initially when Vic Roy got that great jump on the start of the race, but gained it back here and has not looked back ever since as he comes down now the backstretch. Got a lap car in front of him, but should be far enough in front that won't have to deal with Brian Farron there, as again you can look in the mirror and see that number 3 is far enough back he can kind of take it easy through the final corner here of Sunset. Not going to take any kind of chances. Nice and tight to the inside. And your winner here in the Pro Class at Sebring, and gaining a little bit of points on your championship leader, the number 19, Colin Winslow. Heck of a drive, up 16 overall positions for the 3 of Janczak, and keeps that track record of second place being his worst finish.
Yeah, he does.
So he will keep that in tow. Third place going to be Siviani Madrigal in the 15. Herbert Pineda, a good run there, finishing in 4th. Skylar Vickroy falling a little bit back in the second half of this race, but still finishing a good 5th place. Brandon Powell in 6th. Jim Dutton coming around the final corner here. He's going to finish in 7th as just gets by Seamer on the last few laps in the AM class.
Oh, wow, almost got to him.
That is your finish in the AM class. And we will take a look at that one more time here, as that was one heck of a run here to the end. And it is going to be Jim Herrick by 0.067 seconds. We'll take a look back here at the final lap here, and we were watching the finish here of your overall winner, Colin Winslow, but this is where the battle ended up being, as Herrick maybe being a little bit cautious, or maybe Brandon Potts just throwing caution to the wind and driving right up on the back of the 40, heading into the backstretch, and the last chance to really get a good draft on a driver, and he certainly did. You see right there behind Randy Ayers, just a little bit too far back to get up in this mix, and it seemed like here Jim Herrick had it all under control, all under wraps, but Brandon Potts again throwing caution to the wind, going very deep into Sunset, and Jim Herrick pushing out a little bit mid-corner and almost getting into the wall. But
wow,
that is your finish in the AM class. I mean, 40 minutes coming down to 0.067 seconds. We love it up here, and I'm sure everybody out there in Sierra Nation loves it. Jim, we'll give him some time to cool down here, to calm down.
He's going to need a couple minutes to catch his breath. Yeah, that too, for
same
sure.
thing for Brandon Potts. I mean, that was an epic finish there for the AM class. As we'll get these boys up here ready for their interviews here in a second, but we'll give a rundown in the meantime of the race results in the Pro Class. It was Colin Winslow taking the win by 4.3 seconds over Craig Janczak. Siviani Madrigal, Herbert Pineda, Skylar Vickroy, Brandon Powell, Jim Dutton, John Seamer, Dan Morera, Frank Bassano, your top 10. As I'm clicking the wrong button, there we go. Stefan Price is going to finish in 11th place. Then in your AM class, it was very, very close indeed. Jim Herrick taking the win by officially, excuse me, 0.069 seconds. Randy Ayers going to finish in 3rd, less than a second behind as well. So top 3 covered by less than a second is pretty epic here to finish this thing out. Christian Ortiz-Torres finishing in 4th. Jay Little, Ian Wilson, Brian Farron, your 7-car field. Jason Potts, unfortunately, not out here in the field tonight. But, Joe, these AM class guys are mixing up pretty nicely, and it's making for some epic racing, epic finishes. And this points battle is going to be really crazy here in the last 4 races.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch the rest of the season here. I mean, you got Jim Herrick, who's just been on a tear. He's finally, got the demons out of the way and avoiding all the calamity, and able to finish, get some good finishes here and get another win here. And then Brandon Potts, he's been on a tear as well. I mean, he's just seems to be getting better and better and better each week. And then you got Randy Ayers, who's always up there in the top 3 unless something happens to him. So these guys have just been on the up here, on the finishing good and putting down some speed. And these like we talked about, this gauntlet of tracks coming up. It'll be interesting to see who can avoid any kind of damage in those races, and who can come and stay clean and continue their success here. But it's they've been putting on some good shows here.
Absolutely. So looks like we got most, if not all, of our drivers in here for their interviews. So So we'll go ahead and take it back and start with our AM class here tonight, as they deserve to go first, as they put on an epic battle all the way to the end of the race. And we'll start with our third place finisher here tonight, the 66 of Randy Ayers. And Randy, I gotta ask you, when is the start of the race gonna click for you? When are you gonna avoid the issues here tonight? Unfortunately, another issue popping up here as you tangle up with another car and end up getting spun and have to fight your way back. And you made a hell of a fight back. I will give you that, all the way to finish in third place. But man, just tough luck in being in these races lately.
Yeah, it's like 3 in a row, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like about 7.
The first two were my fault. This one, I think I got tapped from behind there. So, you know, I'll look at the review or the replay, but for sure. But yeah, lap 2, that was I was just starting to kind of get into my pace, and next thing I know, I'm facing the other direction.
I mean, you had the pace here tonight. You had a very fast car out there tonight, and you were able to run back through the field, finish in third. You got very close to Brandon Potts there before you made a little mistake there in Sunset, which is not uncommon. I mean, that corner is just, it seems so easy, but it's so menacing and so bumpy. And you know, how tough was it out here tonight? Yeah, towards the end of the race, my tires were just cords. So the ABS and traction control were kicking on all over the place, and it wasn't helping me much. So, yeah, I saw Brandon, and I got, you know, I had like 1 lap left. I'm like, I'm going to get up there and see if anything I can cause any kind of, you know, in the mirror kind of phobia, and nope, didn't happen. So good race for those guys. They stayed clean and stayed out of trouble and finished well. Well, you come in here sitting back there in 6th place in points, but, you know, realistically, considering everything that you've gone through the last few races, only 13 points behind coming in. You finish in third. I get another race of what could have been and potentially a win here tonight, but how do you feel now going into the last 4 races of the season? Do you feel like the championship still is in sight?
You know, I think I have good pace. I just need a little luck on my side, and I think I'll be okay. I'm always there for the championship, so I'm going to push as much as I can. And work for the best outcome.
Well, here's to you making it through at least 5 laps next week without any issues. But before we let you go here tonight, congratulations on your 3rd place. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
You know, everyone that's running the league here, Casual Sim Racers League, very fun league, a lot of respectful racing here, and a lot of good competition. And then you guys for putting on the broadcast, you know, really appreciate it. It's fun. My friends watch it, and I get to be a real race car driver.
We made it interesting for the friends and family to watch it here tonight as you ran your way back through the field. And it's, I guess, considering the last couple of weeks, at least tonight you were able to run your way back up to 3rd place. So congrats on the 3rd, and we'll let you go celebrate.
Thank you. Congratulations to Jim and Brandon too.
Absolutely. That is your 3rd place finisher, the 66 of Randy Ayers here in the AM class. 2nd place in the AM class by a huge margin was the 25 of Brandon Potts. Joe, why don't you go ahead and talk to Brandon? I mean, he's lost by a ton out here, so he's probably, you know, sobbing up there a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably devastated. Brandon, walk me through those last couple of laps there. It looked like you were reeling in Jim, and then had a moment there and lost him a little bit, but you were able to find something there on that last lap and almost get him at the line.
Yeah, my strategy didn't work. I tried to pull back a little bit. So I noticed when I was buying before we pitted, because I was going to try to make the pass before we pit, but the front end of the Lambo was lifting up a little bit. I felt like I was getting a little light, and I didn't know exactly where I could pass him, because basically we had the opposite strengths. So if you like watch a few of the laps, like I'm catching him in certain sections, and then he'll pull a little bit in the certain sections. So we're going back and forth. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to, because I didn't undercut him by enough, and there wasn't enough laps to overcut, because just going 2 laps is not good enough for an overcut. I was like, well, I have to just basically have to cut off his undercut. So I pitted the next lap after he did, with 2 laps left. And then I was like, it's all going to come down to tires. So with 3 to 4 laps left, I backed off, because I was like, I don't want to be sliding and just eat up my fronts, because then I won't have any grip for if I can make a move. So I backed off I think it was with 4 laps left, because when he said 5 laps to go, I was like, I don't want to stay out of 1.3 to 1.5. So I was like, I'm not going to let him get that far. But when I look at my rear view, I got Randall catching me, and I'm like, dude, I literally was going to come on, believe me, I wanted to come on the radio so many times and say, Randall, can you please stay out of this?
Can you chill for a second? I'm trying to do something.
Every time I look around, because I was literally saying this at the beginning of the race, I queue up and I'm like, there's the crew of 4 that is always right here, it feels like. And it looks like Antonio couldn't make it. I think he was at work today. Jason's PC ended up crashing during lap 1, so that's why he disappeared. He's been having some PC issues, so hopefully I can get that fixed this weekend by going over there and helping him out. But I just look up and I'm like, there's Christian, there's Jim, and I was like, there's Randall. I'm like, well, here's the good old crew right here. No wonder we're so close on points, because we're always right here. I did have one mistake right before the last S's, before the backstretch, where I hit the dirt, and that actually got me scared that I was going to let Jim get away, because my time shot up to 1.7, and I was like, I don't know. And I was like, 2 laps left. Can you get him? I was like, yeah, I got him. It's fine. So I literally just backed off a little bit more, and I was like, brake like you're trying to do your first qualifying lap. I usually brake a little bit later, but I try to make sure that I have a little bit leeway, so if I do start to slide or something, I can catch it, plenty of room. And then the next lap, just give it everything. So that last lap, if I would have known I had a little bit more room, I would have probably run him closer out to the wall, because I gave him too much room, because I scrubbed speed staying in, and I could have just put us door to door, and it'd have been an even closer drag race. I think I'd have still lost, but it'd have been a pretty good picture. So, but it was great racing by Jim, by Randall, just everybody out there.
Yeah, you gained a full second on him on that last lap, and he took it really wide coming off that final corner, coming to the checkered, and gave you a little bit of room, but you didn't anticipate that. But what another great finish here from you. And I talked about it earlier, Jim and you guys have finally, gotten to a very good series of finishes here, and starting to put it all together. And it's going to be fun to watch the rest of this season play out as the points are getting tighter and tighter. And with Antonio missing here tonight, looks like it's going to propel you possibly into the lead here. And with a couple races left and two tracks that are going to be, hard tracks for everybody, and anything can happen in those races. So it's going to be interesting to see you guys finish the season out here.
Oh, definitely. I think because I think this is Antonio's first race missing, so this might be his drop race. So he won't drop too far on the points. So he'll still be in it, I believe, next week. But with we got Red Bull, we got Mount Panorama, so we're on the mountain, Nürburgring, and then Suzuka. So I would say Red Bull Ring and the mountain, I'm at least comfortable in. So, but I'm not going to lie to you. I have put in literally 1 lap in the Jetta at the Nürburgring combined. I have not done anything. I cannot do that track. So I'm going to try to buckle down these next few weeks and use a little bit of time that I have to practice that, and maybe just kind of polish up the Red Bull and the mountain, and just see if I can survive the Nürburgring, because once you get spread out there, there's no draft. Right? Yeah. Well, actually, my drop race, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to use my week 1 as my drop race when I race sick, because I came in basically almost dead last, because I didn't have any energy. But I have to have a decent finish. I can't give it all the way up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it might be my drop race, because that's on my birthday. So I don't know. So it's going to be hard. So maybe I need to get a couple more podiums these next 2, so I can make sure I got some space.
There you go.
But
well, it's been fun watching you progress here and getting faster and faster, and getting up here and talking to us after the race. I know you've been putting in a lot of work, and it's showing off.
Definitely. Just thank you guys for the broadcast, and just everyone out there that's supporting the rest of the ZFG crew that's in here, and then the ones that aren't even here helping. I literally learned how to take 2 turns before the race started in the Lambo, because I had to ask somebody like, all right, how do I take this last turn, because sunset's killing me. And so I learned that 10 minutes before I hopped into the thing. So I was practicing every time, but luckily I learned from Jim a little bit too by sticking behind him. So it's something to learn from who's faster. But thank you guys. Thank Miss Phoenix for always helping. She's been the pit crew and everything. Shout out to Phoenix Nest TV, and then also just like the family and everything for helping and step by step. So thank you guys.
Yeah, well, congrats on another top 3 here, and go celebrate, and we will see you next week.
Yes, thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
That is your second place finisher here in the M class, the 25 of Brandon Potts. Last but not least, we're going to bring in your winner here in the M class, and that was the 40 of Jim Herrick with a dominating performance here tonight. I mean, not even close. You just absolutely smoked the field. Maybe I should ask if your heart rate has come down. Are you still alive, Jim? Or are you still kicking? Are you breathing after that last lap at that last turn?
Yeah, I'm starting to calm down a little bit. I'm sweating like crazy though here in the rig, and my arms are really tired. But yeah, that was, I don't know if you can call that a dominating performance. The end was it was dominating right up to the end, where it was very, very close.
Exactly. I mean, it was unbelievable finish for you guys in the M class, and not even just for you guys battling for the win, but Randy Ayers right there in third place, less than a second behind as well. So, I mean, you could not make a mistake out here tonight. But, I mean, really, how was it out there tonight? How easy was it to make a mistake? I mean, this is a track that I'm sure a lot of guys have experience on, but it's not exactly the smoothest track. It's a little bumpy out there, especially through sunset. It can kind of catch you off guard if you're not paying attention for 1 second.
Yeah, the bumps are one of the major things here you got to watch out for. There's, sort of a way you got to just get down to the right speed, and you can feel as you go over the bumps a little bit of tire skid, and when you get that, that you're at the right speed, and if you're going too fast, you'll know really quick, and because the back end will start to come out, especially in the Porsche. Porsche is pretty free at the back end, and which makes it really good at some of the tighter, back and forth parts. But yeah, it's sometimes a little tough there in the really fast turns like Sunset and turn 1.
Well, you were able to wrangle it in here, and unfortunately for Randy Ayers, he gave up the lead to you pretty quickly there. But you had a very fast number 40 out there once again. So congrats on the win, and it's certainly gonna mix up the points here with Antonio not being here, even though he can use this as his drop race. I mean, at the top of the AM class standings is packed with so many drivers that are still way into the chances here yet for the championship with 4 races to go. So, I mean, what's the mindset going into these last 4? Is it just looking at some of the tracks to do good at, looking at some to survive? What's going to be the mindset to try and bring home this championship?
Yeah, next where are we going into?
Red Bull Ring
Mount
next
Panorama.
No,
Red Bull Ring
first. Yep.
Yeah, Red Bull. I know that track pretty well, so we'll see. Hopefully, I can, put on another good performance and have a solid finish and get good points there. And then we go to the 2 wild cards, I think, the Mount Panorama and
one way to call them. Yes.
Nürburgring. Yeah, those races we're going to be in more of a try and survive mode. I think the last time we went to Mount Panorama, I had a good race going, but then came over the top of that hill, and there was somebody spinning right down the middle of the track, and I had to, it was like a 50-50 choose left or right, and I just chose poorly and couldn't make it back around. But we'll see. And again, Nürburgring, I still haven't been there. I did do about 3 laps of practice last week there, so we'll see. Maybe that'll help.
It's only a little over 15 miles to memorize, so it's nothing too crazy. But
yeah, we'll definitely try and survive those two, and then Suzuka at the end. We'll see. I can do fairly well there. It's a good track for the Porsche too, so we'll see how this final races go. And it's close. It's going to be really tight and really fun there at the end. Coming down to the end.
Breather next week at Red Bull Ring, one of the easiest tracks on the entire schedule. But then a couple just survive and find your way to be in the mix there at Suzuka. But you keep doing it like this. I mean, you've had a nice little run of races, and you're bringing home in first place again here tonight. So congrats on the win. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks 4D Racewear, our sponsor. Look at 4dracewear.com. Shout out to my teammate Dan and Jim and everyone on the admin team that puts on the league here. It's a really great league. I'm having a lot of fun. It seems it doesn't matter what level you're at, there's good racing here. There's always someone to race with, so that makes it a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks to everybody and you guys for the broadcast. I can't wait to watch this one. It's gonna be a good show. I think there was some good action there in turn one. I don't know if you caught Craig coming up from the back there, but
we hopped on board with him. We hopped on board with him for the first lap.
There at the beginning, yeah, and then the end, the drag race to the end after I almost went too wide in Sunset, really brought it to a close. So yeah, I love the broadcast, and thanks a lot, guys.
I appreciate it, buddy, and congrats again on the win. We'll let you go celebrate, and maybe we'll talk to you again after Red Bull Ring.
I hope so. Look forward to it.
That's your winner here in the AM class tonight, the 40 of Jim Herrick. Now we will switch over to your pro class and start with our third place finisher here tonight. Joe, why don't you go ahead and take the 15 of Siviani Madrigal?
Hey there, Siviani, you got a copy?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you. Hey, come over with a third place finish here tonight. You guys were battling there for quite some time there, second, third, fourth, and fifth. I mean, putting on a pretty good show for us.
Oh yeah.
Talk me through your race here tonight.
Oh yeah. So that was a really fun race today. So yeah, definitely these three, 2, 3, and 4, we will having a really nice battle right there. I think it was really clean, really nice. Yeah, so I just was trying to maintain my pace. I just decided not to put so much at the beginning and just keep behind. I guess at the beginning it was I forget the name. So I know Skyler was in the first turn. Skyler takes the P1. Then so we have Colin, and then someone else. I also was in the P4. I just decided to be there, to just be behind them, and just to maintain my pace and get some confidence on the car. Because I love the Lambo. Lambo for me is one of the best cars here. But you have to be very, very careful with this car because there's a lot of bumps in the track, and you can easily lose the car, and especially the back of the car. But yeah, so I'm just trying to maintain my pace, to do to also save a little bit of tires. And then so I just was fighting a little bit with Skyler, but I see Skyler and we have a similar pace. And yeah, so I just decided just to be just behind Skyler and waiting for an opportunity, right? Just to be there. But then so I just see Craig coming, who was amazing. So Craig hasn't had a chance to get a quality lap. But yeah, so he started from the back and just put it in the behind me, like in the 10 or 12 laps. And I just what just happened? What is going on? So, yeah, what just happened? Where is the other drivers? So yeah, so I just see Craig behind me, and yeah, so definitely I know he has a lot of more pace than me, and yeah, so I just so once we have in the right place, so I will let Craig go, and I actually told him, so Craig, go over the left. You have the free space on me. Go ahead. And because I know he can battle a little bit with Skyler. I thought actually that Skyler also will let Craig go, but that not happened. So I just see that they start battering a lot right there for the second for the second position. And so I thought at the same time, so well, maybe here could be my opportunity, so I can get a P2 easily if they just start battering a lot, and they can get out of the track in those battles. But yeah, so at the end, Craig make a real nice move on Skyler, and he passed away. Not pass away, so he just passed in front of Skyler, and yeah, so it was amazing. So at the end, so I just also was behind Skyler, and I see that I have a little bit more pace than Skyler, and decided to pit earlier, 1 lap earlier, I think. And yeah, so I did the overcut, and it works very, very well for me. And then so I just have the clean track for me, and I can just use my pace and maintain it. And yeah, that was pretty much. So I was a really nice race today, and yeah, so I just been really happy with this third place on this.
Yeah, this is a track that most people are familiar with, and I'm sure you are as well. Coming away with the third place here tonight. What's give me one thing that you need to have to get around here and finish good? What's like the if you had to say like one word about this track, what would it be?
It's just maintaining inside the lines. I think that's the most important part in this track. And yeah, so just be careful, and especially with that last turn. That's a lot of bumps right there, and if you miss a little bit of brakes on, you definitely will have a really hard time trying to get the car back and pushing back to the straight, because it's really hard. So that last turn with a lot of bumps, and yeah, if you miss a little bit the brakes, yeah, so you definitely will have a lot of bad time in that turn.
Yeah, that's a turn that I'm completely struggling with. So it's a hard one, I know. But you come away with the third place finish. Anybody want to give a shout out to on that number 15?
Well, so basically to all you guys, so all the crowd here is doing an amazing job with this league. And also you guys with the broadcast, this amazing broadcast. I really appreciate that. So yeah, thank you to all you guys, and also to all the persons, all the people that support this league, and yeah, all the drivers as well. All the people here is always to be grateful to be here, and yeah, thankful to everybody.
All right, well, congrats on the third, and we'll see you at Red Bull next week.
All right, yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is your third place finisher in the pro class tonight, the 15 of Siviani Madrigal. Second place is going to be the 3 of Craig Janczak, and we talked to him before the race. And Craig, just a boring race for you out there. I mean, it didn't look like you put any effort into the race here tonight.
How much fuel did you save, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, just looked like you fell asleep on lap 1 there. Didn't really do much at all. But why don't you go ahead and take us through your race?
I did save fuel. I want you guys to know that
on a base lap?
I saw, what was the quote from the ARCA driver a couple of weeks ago? I didn't want to lift until I saw Jesus or a checker flag or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. But that's what it kind of felt like on lap 1. Honestly, everything just kept parting in front of me. And nothing. Yes, the 4 wide in turn 1 was definitely done by me. And I pushed that envelope, and it worked out. Obviously, it easily could have not. But I saw the gap, and the same thing went for the exit of turn 3. I saw that gap where I was able to clear a large clip of cars at once, and we were able to do it and end up being P9 after lap 1, and just a really huge, testament to what I think is a big part of oval, and that's being able to be good on fresh, cold tires. Where a lot of other competitors that focus primarily on road are going to really take it easy for the first couple corners there. Finding the limit and knowing where it is something that I always test for myself. And knowing exactly where that limit was what allowed me to get 9 cars on the first lap, and just continue to try to lay down as much as I can. The tires were dead by the time I got through Skyler. And if I had passed Skyler on my first attempt, I think we would have had a really close battle to hunting down Colin. Good win to him, by the way. He's a great kid. And I really enjoy having him here. But I lost about 3.5 seconds behind Skyler, and the gap to Colin at the end was about 4.5. And if I could have got to having his draft at all, you never know what happens, right? So yeah, just an absolutely amazing event out here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about starting P last. You got all the way up to P2 here tonight. It's got to feel easily like a great finish out here tonight. I know you. I'm sure you would have loved to get up there to Colin and mix it up, but we were looking, kind of early in the race when you get up there to about third, fourth, or fifth place, and just kind of get an idea of how big that start was for you, and looking realistically, if you were still in that same position that you were at the start of the race, ideally you roughly by that time gained about 20 seconds on the field. I mean, the guys back there in 15th, 16th place were about 26 seconds behind the leader, and you were up there about 6 seconds behind the leader. So, I mean, that start right there was, I would assume, what you credit entirely to the second place here tonight.
100%, yeah. On the grid, on the pace lap, actually, I told Jim that I was just going to be excited if I think I even may have said it in the interview. I just wanted my finishing position to be a single digit tonight, because then I would have felt like this season, would still be, the lead would still be pretty salvageable in points for this season, and would still be something to be able to work with pretty handily going forward. And we ended up making that a single digit after a lap, and after I did that, I did commit for probably 2 or 3 laps to doing some coasting to try to get those passes the easy way, like I had mentioned. And we ended up being fortunate enough to be really good on the Audi brakes. My goodness, that ended up being the right choice just for being able to enter corners with ferocity, and we were able to do that to get around actually a handful of cars that we otherwise may not have if we were in any other vehicles. So yeah, I credit it fully to that, and we'll say 95% that, and then 5% the willingness to be aggressive, thanks to my oval background.
Yeah, it's certainly the brakes, all credit to him to getting around Skyler there when you're battling him into Sunset for a couple times there, and you were finally able to get the pass down. I thought for a second you were going to say something else about Jim and what you feel about these single qualifying laps here. I mean, you're not going to have any choice when you get to some of the other tracks here on the schedule with Mount Panorama and especially Nürburgring, as you're not going to have time to get more than one lap in there. But I mean, a great run here from here tonight, regardless of getting a qualifying lap in here or not. You made a heck of a run there on the first lap, getting about halfway up the field, and then your skills got you the rest of the way up there to second place, and maybe a little sooner you would have had a chance at Colin. But great run here, great second place. We'll give you one more time to give a little shout out, and thanks if you have any.
Yeah, huge thanks to you guys at Core, as always. I do really look forward to watching this one back. It'll be a good oh dang couple of moments. I'm sure, looking back at some of the highlights, but
we did hop on board in your cockpit on that first lap to rewatch the other run through there. So you do have that to watch.
That's awesome. Okay, cool.
You're ready to smile for 40 straight minutes. That's all I gotta say.
Well, it is my honor. I really appreciate that comment. I do love being a part of the show here. As much as the rest of the competitors, and thanks to them as well for showing up, and everybody that supports me that I went through earlier. I won't use the 20 seconds again, but thank you to all those guys and everybody that watches me, watches us, and puts effort into this league. Is just a big fan of mine. So thank you, and thank you again, and huge congrats again to Colin. He's becoming a good buddy now ever since joining this league, and I'm glad he got a W.
Well, once again, congrats on the second place here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate that and get ready for Red Bull Ring next week, and maybe we'll talk to you again.
You got it. Have a good night, guys.
That is your second place finisher, the 3 of Craig Janczak. Last but not least is going to be your winner here tonight overall, the 19 of Colin Winslow, and hopefully Gianna, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, is still out there waiting to give you your congratulations. Already has said, way to go, Colin, for getting the win done. I know Joe up here was maybe rooting for you a little bit just because of the paint scheme out there, but what a performance on the night here tonight as you get the win done. Was a little bit tough there maybe in the beginning as Skylar Vickra got the jump on you on the start, but you were able to get around him and really check out, and you set some really consistent lap times, lap after lap out there.
Yeah, bad start. Definitely kind of helped me up for a little bit, and that was just on me. I fell asleep at the start, and that I knew that was going to make the race more interesting because as soon as lap 1 was over, Craig had gone from P last, whatever that was, to P9. I don't know if you guys had Craig on the broadcast for the first lap, but it was poetry in motion. I have gone back and watched it. Craig's first lap was insane.
Yeah, we hopped in the cockpit and watched his first lap from the cockpit and how he passed all those cars. Yep. So it's on the broadcast.
So we had the qualifying that I don't know if Craig told you about, but basically we only had 1 lap to qualify. Craig had the off track. So the story of my race from the start was as soon as I saw Craig did not set a time, I was like, okay, I'm just going to save my tires. Because in qualifying, I was 3/10, almost 4/10 faster than second. So my goal was just to save tires. And that way, when Craig caught me, it wasn't an if, it was a when. I would be ready to play a defensive battle there. So that was my goal, and that's probably where the consistent lap times came from. I was really just honing in on that 2-minute mark.
Well, it seemed like that's the only thing you were doing this entire race. I mean, every time we looked at a lap time, it was 2-minute flat, just under, just over. I mean, it was unbelievable consistency from you out there. And I mean, just for that right there, you have to be happy, you have to be proud. But you get the win done here tonight. I mean, regardless of what the issues were there for Craig and having to start from the back, it's exactly what the doctor ordered for you. You come in 16 points behind him in the standings with 5 races to go. Grab the win here tonight. Do you feel like maybe this gives you a little bit of a shot? Granted, it took a while to get through the field, but I mean, you got 4 races left. Can you run them down? Can you get them?
Yeah, I hate to.
We're in the trust tree here. It's okay.
Yeah, there's really not a shot. Craig's gotta have a big mistake in order for that to happen. Tonight was a good chance, but Craig's start was extremely good. He got aggressive off the start, and he made some absolutely amazing moves. Unfortunately, some of the faster guys were not that willing to play defense on him, and it made it easy for him to get up the grid there. So that really minimized his damage. He played really good damage control tonight. So I doubt that there's really much of a shot unless he makes a drastic mistake sometime.
Well, I mean, Skylar Vickra certainly gave him everything he could handle to try and get into second place there, but unfortunately he was able to pass him as well. But I mean, next week we talked about probably the easiest track on the entire schedule with Red Bull Ring. But then a bit of a gauntlet to finish out the season, especially with Mount Panorama, Nürburgring, and Suzuka. So, I mean, regardless of how good of a driver you are, those tracks can bite you at every turn. So maybe not quite out of it just yet. And I'm holding out hope. Fingers crossed we get a little battle there. I mean, we certainly have, it feels like about a 16-car battle for the championship in the AM class. We'd like to have at least a 2-car battle here in the pro class.
Yeah, I'm loving keeping up with the AM class points. Those guys are really battling.
I don't know how you can keep up with it. We can't keep up with it.
I'm hoping for drama in the pro class as much as y'all are. Absolutely. So maybe we can make something happen. Unfortunately, I'm just not familiar. I can do Bathurst okay. Nürburgring, I gotta learn it. I got 2-3 weeks to learn it. So
and it's probably still not enough time.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
The track is an absolute beast. Well, congratulations on the win here tonight. Certainly take the time while you can, while you beat that number 3 here tonight and grab the win. But before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, shout out to my mom tonight. I'm pretty sure she made a comment on the live stream, so shout out to her. And then shout out to my dad and my grandfather as well. They always watch, so.
Well, absolutely, put on a nice little show for him out here, and very consistent. You didn't get that much TV time because you were out there to a nice sized lead, but that's fine. I'm sure you don't mind that.
No worries, boys. Stay on the drama. Stay on the drama. So.
Well, just remind Craig that the start time next week is an hour later, and you never know what happens. That's all you gotta do. It's a shame that he's an admin and he already knows that. But
I'll do what I can. All
right. Well, congrats on the win here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you at Red Bull Ring.
All right. Thanks, boys.
That's your winner here tonight, overall and in the pro class here. The 19 of Colin Winslow. I want to thank everybody that tuned in here tonight for another amazing race here in CSRL. And I mean, it was an epic battle. And I think the finish of the AM class kind of gives you a little inclination of how the points are in the AM class. Just ridiculously tight and a lot of drivers involved. So I can't wait already for next Wednesday. It's going to be great there at the Red Bull Ring. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like and subscribe. Get you in tune to everything that CRN has to offer. We've got tons of racing, especially right here in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We are jam-packed with racing. So if you like racing, you need to be a part of the CRN Nation. I mean, there's plenty to watch here. But that is going to do it tonight for myself and Joe here at Sebring. We'll see you at the track.